Hello and a very, very good afternoon to you, and thank you so much, as always, for joining me, Influencers at Times, as we're now entering into our 20th episode in the Influencers at Times series. So once again, thank you so much, as always, for tuning in and for watching, and it is an absolute pleasure and a privilege to have your company as we now take this exciting journey into our 20th episode. So thank you so much, as always. Now, you'll probably remember, and if you've been watching, and can I just say before we go any further, that if this is your first time, as always, if this is your first time, if you've never watched anything like this before, and if you know this is your first time for tuning in, a very special, warm welcome to you, and thank you to you for joining me, Influencers of the Times, and for joining me and everyone else as we go in this fascinating journey into Britain's most abandoned and derelict places. And just to give you a little bit of insight as to what this is all about, if you're wondering what all this is about, Influencers of the Times is a fascinating series that I'm currently doing at the moment. It's a live documentary where possible. And basically the whole point of it is that I will be taking you personally, each and every one of you, whenever you tune in, whenever you join me, whether it's live or whether you watch this at a later time, I will be taking you into Britain's most abandoned and derelict places. And as we go into each place, I will not only be taking photographs of both inside and outside of every location, but I will also be doing, where possible, live broadcasts from inside the very location so that you can actually see with your own eyes from the comfort of your own home, or whether you're travelling, or whether you're watching this on the way to work, whether you're at work, whether you're sitting at home in the warm with a nice cup of tea, whatever the case may be. It's to bring you into these places so that you can see firsthand live broadcasts, so you can get an idea of what the places look like in their current state. But it's also about me giving you the research, the information behind what these places are. So in other words, what the place is and what the places were actually used for. So it's kind of like a live documentary series that I'll be doing. Now, we're currently at episode 20, so if you haven't watched any of the other episodes, don't worry. You can catch up with all of Influencers at Times' fascinating episodes. If you go into my personal, for those of you who know me personally, if you go onto my Facebook page, or if you go onto Facebook and search for Influencers of Times, you can join the Influencers of Times Facebook page, and you can watch all the live episodes. In other words, all the live broadcasts that I've covered in the last couple of months, and we've obviously been on air now for several months already. So you can watch all the episodes, all the live broadcasts from the very first one that we did, which was from the Great Bar Hall estate, or the Great Bar Hall mansion, just outside of Birmingham. And you'll be able to watch all the live broadcasts and get up to date with basically every one of them. Now, not all of them are live broadcasts. Some of them are pre-recorded messages, simply because some of the locations that I've been to, there is no telephone signal, so I've had to do pre-recorded messages, and in particular Dudley's oldest railway tunnel and railway line. So if you're fascinated, or if you're interested, if you want to know more about Influencers of the Times, or if you just want to catch up with all the information, all the photographs and all the live broadcasts that we've done, you can go onto Influencers of the Times Facebook page and watch all the or live broadcasts at your leisure, and see all the photographs and any information that I've been able to give about each of those locations independently. Or alternatively, you can go onto my website page. So if you go to www.camdronephotography.co.uk, it will take you to the home page, and if you look at the headings, whether you're looking on your mobile phone or on a laptop or an iPad or a computer, it doesn't matter. It's mobile friendly, so whether you're looking at whatever device you're using, if you look underneath the headings, look at portfolio. If you click on that, it will open up some more headings, and under there you'll see Influencers of the Times. If you click on there, it will give you a list. In fact, it will give you all the places, all 20, including today. It will give you all the places that we visited, along with all the photographs that I've taken and all the information about each place where possible. So you can get up to date, you can keep up to date. Once you're with Influencers of the Times, you will be able to keep up to date with all the events that I'll be putting and posting onto that Facebook page. And you'll be able to keep up to date with all the locations and all the places that Influencers of the Times will be taking you. So this really is a live documentary to basically go in search of Britain's most abandoned and derelict places, and to take you in there, because as we all know, these places are very quickly diminishing from our ever-changing world. Our world changes on such a daily basis that these places are very quickly diminishing and being demolished. It's not only that, it's also to give you an insight as to what the place was used for and the kind of people who actually worked there. So to kind of give you an insight into that. So that's the whole purpose of this series. Now, we're not going to be just doing places like today, and as I mentioned before, a lot of the places that I've done already are kind of factories and that kind of thing, but we will be covering, and I promise you there will be a wide range, a wide variety of locations that we'll be going to. So we're not just going to do factories and that kind of thing. We'll be doing churches, or we'll be doing castles, we'll be doing ruins. I've got some phenomenal places, or some amazing places and locations in store for you, and Influence of the Times will be going to every single abandoned and derelict place in the whole of the UK. So we're not going to be just sticking around the West Midlands, which is obviously our base. We'll be going to Wales, we'll be going up to Scotland, we'll be going Cornwall, we'll be going Lincolnshire, we'll be going all over the place. So that's just to kind of give you a bit of an insight, for those of you who are watching for the first time, what Influence of the Times is all about. Now, you've joined us, if this is your first time, you've joined us at a fantastic series, and I promise you, I'm hoping today's going to make up for maybe the last one or two that I've done, that either haven't been maybe that interesting, or maybe it's got dark, or for whatever reason, perhaps they just haven't been that interesting. I am so glad that you in particular have joined me today. And for those of you who have been watching, for those that you're watching right now, can I just say hello to all my family, all my friends, and all the people at my workplace, or anybody who knows me who's watching right now. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching, and for coming back. And as you're well aware, Influence of the Times has been doing it really, really well, and very quickly, you're probably aware through my Facebook page that we've had some incredible feedback. I mean, not only the prayers and comments and feedback from you guys watching, which can I say is just absolutely amazing, because it's thanks to you guys, it's your comments and your prayers, as I've mentioned before, that keeps me going and keeps me doing this, because it's hard work. You know, there's lots of travelling, and it's very cold, and you have to forgive me if I look slightly chilly. It is very cold, but I absolutely love doing this, and I love bringing you in here, and I love looking at you and giving you first-hand insight into these fascinating places. So thank you so much for your comments. But also, Influence of the Times have had some incredible feedback. I'm absolutely blown away, and I thank God so much. And for those of you who don't believe, sorry, I got a text message then. Sorry. So for those of you that have been watching, see what I mean about live broadcasts, anything can happen. So I got a text message then, so I apologise for that, but hopefully you're still here and you can still see me okay. All right. We've had some phenomenal feedback from people. As you're probably well aware, we've had some interest from the press. I've been in touch with the BBC, so hopefully I've put this idea forward to BBC News, and also the BBC channel, and also the newspaper as well, the local newspaper. So we've been in touch with the Sun newspaper and also the Birmingham Mail, which were particularly interested in some of the areas that Influence of the Times had covered in the Birmingham area. So who knows, I might well be coming through your doorstep at some point. For those of you who live in the West Midlands and get the Birmingham Mail, I might be just coming through your letterbox very soon. So keep watching. I'll keep you posted. So we might actually make it into the newspaper. So we've had some phenomenal interest, as well as some incredible contact from some of the world's largest image agencies that have actually taken some of the images that I've taken and actually put them out there for sale, for public viewing and everything else. So as you can see, Influence of the Times is doing really well, but it's thank you to you guys for watching, for your viewings and for your feedback. It really is helping. So please keep praying, and please keep just kind of egging me along, really. So it's working, so thank you so much. Anyway, now that we've got that done, okay, so as you can see, just by looking behind me, we are at our next location. I'm so pleased that we've been able to get a good signal, and I'm hoping the signal is going to stay with us. Now, for whatever reason, if the signal does cut out, or if it's not very good, or if it's very weak or poorly or anything else, don't worry too much. What I will do is I will watch these broadcasts later today or tomorrow or the next coming week, and if they haven't come up very well, I'm actually recording this broadcast live as we're doing it on my camcorder. So what I will do is I will upload the video onto Facebook, onto YouTube, so you'll be able to watch it anyway, so don't worry too much. Also, I've taken lots, and I mean lots, of photographs, both inside and outside this location today. So again, don't worry too much if the picture's not very good or anything else, or if we're having trouble with connections or anything else. Don't worry too much. I've taken plenty of photographs, so you'll be able to catch up with all the photographs that I've taken today, inside and outside. They will be on my Facebook page as always, either today or tomorrow or the next couple of days, along with the information that I'm about to give you, so don't worry too much. Now, even though I look rather cold, I am extremely excited to bring you this fascinating 20th episode, and to celebrate our 20th episode, I thought what better place than to bring you to our next location, to this place here. Now, I'm hoping if the signal is good enough, we are going to do this in 2 parts. The reason being is because this place is so big. Okay, so this will be part 1, and I'm going to try and run this for about half an hour. I'm conscious of the battery power as well that I've got on my mobile phone, so I'm going to try and squeeze in half an hour now, and then join me in 15-20 minutes or half an hour after the first half is finished for the second half, when we'll be in the next part of this location. So we're going to do this in 2 halves. So this is part 1. Part 2 will be after this, after a short break, and it will give me a chance to charge my phone up for a couple of minutes, and we'll carry on. So part 1. So enough waffle, let's get cracking, because I'm just conscious of battery power. So where am we? Okay, so we're no longer near Birmingham. In fact, we are probably over 100 miles north of Birmingham. I've actually brought you to Yorkshire, and we are just outside Sheffield. So we're probably about 2 miles or so outside Sheffield. It's actually taken me nearly 2 hours to walk from Sheffield train station to here. So give you an idea of how far away we am from the city centre. So we're just outside Sheffield in Yorkshire, and I've brought you to this place. This is the most amazing, without question. This is the largest, most complex location Influence of the Times has ever broadcast from. So you're about to see the biggest and the best location we've ever been to. I'm really hoping the signal is going to stay with us so that I can give you a really good look about. So, without further ado, welcome to episode 20, part 1. Welcome to the Dyson Ceramics factory just outside Sheffield. Okay, so we're at Dyson Ceramics factory just outside Sheffield. I'm going to give you a little bit of information. There's not a lot to give you, because what I want to do is kind of give you that information as quickly as I can so that we can use up the battery power to give you a good look about it, because there's plenty to see. In fact, there's lots to see. Okay, so this factory was originally built back in 1834, okay, so by a gentleman called John Dyson. Okay, so we're going back to 1834, so we're going back to the 17th, 18th century. Okay, so we're looking about 1834-ish, which is when a factory like this was built. Okay, it was built very near here by a man named John Dyson. Shortly after that, that factory then moved to this place. Now, this place was actually built around, let me think, it was probably the early 1900s, so we're about the late 1800s, early 1900s. So we're looking at about 1900s-ish, okay? So that's when this location was built, and it was used right up until 2006. Now, the reason why it was used up until 2006 is because this place here became so big. In other words, the premises that this place is built on became, the factory itself, as you like, was doing so well and became so large that they had to move to a larger premises. Now, this place is enormous. It is huge. However, they had to move to another location, so they closed this in 2006 and moved to the new location. So this factory's been abandoned for about 20 years. Okay, so we're nearly talking about 21 years. But about 20 years it's been abandoned for, and it's literally just been left to rot and rust and fall apart. However, there is lots to see. I have never seen anywhere like it. So that's the only information that I can give you. I can't give you anything more than that. As always, you're more than welcome to Google this place yourself and find out more about this place. But that's when it was built. So we're talking about early 1800s was the first factory of its kind. Then it moved to here in the late 1800s, early 1900s till 2006. So it actually lasted for a long time. For probably over 100 years, this factory was actually used for. And 2006 became abandoned or no longer used, and has been abandoned for about 20 years for them to move to another location. And it was actually owned by a company called, I can't remember the name of the company. I think it was like Northern Ceramics, I think it was, or something it was owned by. Okay, so they moved to another place. So this is what's left of the original factory. So this is over 100 years old in itself. So that's all the information I can give you. Now I know it's not a lot to go on, but I've tried to do as much research as I can prior to this broadcast to make sure that I give you as much as I can. But this really is all the information that I can give you, I'm afraid. So I'm aware that it's not really a lot. However, I really do want to give you a good look about before we lose any more power or anything else. So let's get cracking. So let's have a look about. So we're now in the main. Very quickly. This part here is probably the main part of the factory where they would have made the ceramic bricks. Okay, so what they would have done is, and we'll have a look in a minute. Don't worry. Downstairs, underneath where I'm standing, there are massive, huge, long rectangle tunnels, which are the original furnaces. Okay, so the bricks would have been made into the shapes, or in fact they might have actually been made up here. Then they would have been taken in the lift. There's a lift actually just over there, which we'll have a look in a minute. There's a lift there. They would have gone downstairs and they would have been placed into massive, great big long furnaces, which would have then baked them and given them that ceramic shiny look. They then would have been stored outside, there's a massive great big kind of like hangar outside, huge massive hangar where they would have been stored. And in the part next door, which is where we're going to be in part 2, is where the ingredients, in other words, is where the mixing part would have been. So that would have been where all the ingredients for the ceramic bricks would have been originally brought to this factory and then blasted and made into the shapes and then brought into here to be kind of finished off in a way. Alright, so that's to kind of give you, so we're in the kind of the main part. So up here is kind of, this particular part is where they would have been either brought up and stored up here, or they would have been taken from this part, taken downstairs and then baked. So I'm not quite sure which way around it would have been. They could have been baked downstairs and made kind of ceramic and stored in here and then brought up in that lift, or it could have been the other way around. They could have kind of, if you like, brought them up here first or done whatever up here, then took them down the lift and baked them that way. So I'm not quite sure which way around it would have been. I'm not quite sure. However, this place, as you can see, is huge. So this is where there would have been lots of machinery up here. There would have been obviously a lot of people up here. There's a staff area over the other end, so we'll have a look at that in a minute. But this is kind of roughly, I'm assuming, judging by the size, this is where they would have stored the bricks, either before or after they would have been finished. So either before ceramification or afterwards. Alright, now the floor itself is made with reinforced steel, and there's parts of the floor that are actually metal because there's actually pallets of what's left of the bricks just behind us, and we'll have a look in a minute. So the floor is steel or metal because obviously the weight of the bricks would have been so great that they would have had, you know, regardless of whether they were stored before or after they were finished, the weight would have been so great that the floor is reinforced steel. So we're walking on a steel floor and it's enormous, as you can see. So that's what this particular bit would have been used for. So let me pick you up because I'm just looking at the battery power and it's going down quite quick. Let's have a look about and we'll kind of get our bearings a little bit. So bear with me one sec. I'll just come around the back and I'll give you a look around. So we just come around this way. Okay, so you can see, if I just, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to give you a look around. So you can see, now the lift, you see that? So that's the lift that they would have used to either bring the bricks up or down. So it's like a lift shaft. And it's filled in, but there's two great big pulleys. I don't know if you can see them. There's two pulleys just on the top there. You see them on the top? There's like two little wheels. So that would have been the lift that they would have used to either bring the bricks up or down. But this area would have been used to store bricks, either before or after they were finished. So that's the lift that you're looking at, just there. And you can see how the floor is like metal. Can you see how it's like reinforced? So it's got like reinforced metal floor obviously because the sheer weight would have been incredible. But you can see this, how abandoned and derelict this place is. If I just zoom out for you, so you can now see how this place looks today. Bearing in mind this factory is over 100 years old. So this is currently where we're standing. And it's just a massive, huge area. So you can get an idea of what this place looks like. And can you see there, we've got pallets of bricks now. Obviously, these are what they would have looked like before they would have been finished. So you can see how they're like, almost like cut into like sections, like little mini sausages. But you can see there's a couple of pallets of bricks there. And that's what they would have looked like before they were done. And then afterwards they would have gone downstairs and they would have been baked and made into like ceramic bricks. But that'll give you an idea of what they look like. And that, believe it or not, over there is the staff area, which we'll have a look at in a minute as well. But that's just to give you an idea of what we're looking at. And that's currently what it looks like in here. You can see it's a huge, great big, massive open area. You can see how the ceiling, if I just pan that away, I just zoom out. There you go, so you can see. What it's like. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to pick you up. I'm going to have a look at the lift. And then we're going to have a look at the staff area. So I'll pick you up and you can come and have a look. You can see I'm still trying to get used to my tripod because it's so big. But can you see the lift? So you can get an idea of what it looks like. You see that? If I just come around this way, now you can kind of see what I mean about the lift. So that would have been used to either bring the bricks up or down. So that's the lift shaft. So you can kind of see. Just give you a look about. It's a massive, great big, huge storage area. But this would have been bustling with people and machinery and all sorts. But it's kind of give you an idea of what it's like. Let's go and have a look at the staff areas because there's so much to see and I'm just conscious because of the battery and I don't want it to die. So you have to bear with me. If I keep catching the tripod, you'll have to bear with me, folks, because I'm still trying to get used to it because it's quite heavy and it's quite a big tripod and I'm trying not to catch the legs. So let's go towards. Let's go over this way because there's something I just want to show you over here. So I'm just walking across. Let's go through this way and you can kind of see what it's like. Let's go, I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll go through this. We're having a bit of a detour, sorry folks. Having a bit of a detour. Let's go this way. This place is just absolutely enormous. I've never ever seen anything like it ever. So you can kind of get in. Now if I just show you, you can't really see. I was going to say just out there, you've got the big, can you see it in the distance, that big warehouse thing, that big hangar thing? That's where the bricks would have been stored once they would have been finished. Out there. And then here, can you see that? If you look, there's like fans above, just hanging down from the ceiling. They're like fans. That would have been the cooling room, so that would have been where the bricks would have been brought to cool off. I'm assuming once they'd been covered in ceramic. So they would have been stored in like a kind of cooler, which would have hardened them off. So that's where they would have been stored. that big cooler unit. It's like a big kind of cooling room. I'm just watching my feet because it's quite slippery in places, but you can kind of see just how big this place is. As you can see how the floor is falling in there. Let's go over this way. And then we'll quickly go downstairs and I'll show you a bit down there. And then I'll charge my battery up and we'll do part 2. But believe it or not, this is the staff. So you can see some more bricks just over there, look. But you can just get an idea of how big this place is, look. So there's like the cooling room. Just a huge, big place. Let's go to the staff area. So we're going to go just across this way. Just watch my feet. Okay. So we're going to go through here. Now then, can you see how we've got... We're actually currently in the staff area. And you can see up there, look, we've got some Old Spice in the shower, in the locker. So this is the locker room where the staff would have used. You can see how can't really see a lot, but believe it or not, it's the lockers. And if I just come backwards, you've got the mirror, and then you've got an old magazine, some old boots, clothes, and it's literally like they've literally just left everything. They've literally just packed up and left. It's just fascinating. You've got like the hangers up there, and then this would have been almost like your changing rooms. So if I come backwards, it's almost like changing rooms. If I come through this way, I've got some more. So this obviously would have been the original toilets. See that? So that's the original staff toilets. So that's kind of all up in. You've got this kind of room here, which I'm not quite sure what it would have been used for, but it could have been the staff room, it could have been anything. And then you literally come back out into this bit here. And then you've got like these little rooms, like storage rooms. So you've got like 3 rooms, and then if you go into there, you've got, like I said, the changing rooms, the men's changing rooms, or the toilets, the lockers, which have still got some Old Spice and an old soap dish, some trainers or some boots. There's actually a couple of clothes on the floor, a bit of paperwork in there. So it literally just looks like they've just packed up and left those things behind, which is fascinating. And that's kind of all that's up here. Now you can just see, I'll pan the camera up. Can you see the chimney? Chimney stack. So, how's about we go downstairs? So I'm going to take you back through this way. And what I'm going to do is grab my torch, because it's quite dark down there, which I should have done beforehand actually, so I'm sorry folks, but just to kind of give you an idea of what it's like. So let me just grab a torch and then we'll go downstairs. And we'll do downstairs, and then that'll be the end of part 1, and then we'll go back. Part 2 will be in a minute. So you can see the kind of bricks there, look, still on the pallets. So there we go. So that's upstairs. So I'm just going to pop you down and grab a torch. So I should have done this before. Okay, there we go. But there we go, you can at least see anyway. So let's go downstairs. I'll quickly show you downstairs. I'm hoping the signal is going to last. So part 2 might just be quite short, but we'll definitely do another bit. So what we're going to do, we're going to come out through these doors, and we're going to go down there. Okay. So let me just get my torch. Let's go downstairs. So we're going to go down, and it is dark down here, folks. Very dark, and I'm hoping you're going to be able to see. Oh, right. So we are now. Oh, no, it's lost. No. Ooh. Okay, the signal's not that good, so just bear with me. Oh, I think you're still there. Let's come down this way a bit. Okay, let's go. Right, what I'll do is I'll come down this way because the signal's going to be better. Okay. Hopefully you're going to be able to see. I'm just going to come down here. Right, I'm hoping. Yeah, it's not brilliant, but you'll be able to see something, hopefully. Okay, can you see that? I think you can just about see. Okay, so these are the tunnels that the bricks would have been passed through to be furnaced for the ceramic. And you can see how long. You can just see the other end, right down the bottom. And there's actually quite a few of them. There's one just there as well, look. So they would have been put, they're on like, there's like little railway lines. And they would have been passed through these tunnels to be furnaced. So bring it back this way. It's got another one, so we just put that one there. And if you look down there, I'm not going to take you down there because you probably won't get a signal. But you can see that's literally all machinery and stuff down there. And they run the full length of each furnace. So you can walk all the way to the other end. It's just absolutely massive. Now let's have a look in here, just hopefully get a signal. Keep catching the thing. So you can see these things here, look. So these are like, I don't know, like little, they look like little ovens. They look like the original ovens that would have baked them as well. So you've got 4. And a sign there, look. But you can just see how dark. You see the rail where they would have been pulled through? All the way to the other end, look. I've got like there's a chair down there. But I'm hoping you've still got signal just about. But you can see this one, like there you go. So they would have been pulled through all the way to the other end. So they would have been like baked and all sorts and brought through. And then through this, I'll just show you. So you can just see how far it kind of goes. It's got like all the machinery and stuff down there. So that's kind of what's down here. Now, I just wish I could take you actually in there, but I can see that the signal's not that good. So I'm not going to take you down there. So the signal's not that good at all. So let me just step up here a bit. Oh, bear with me. There we go. That's better. So the signal's come back now. But that's just kind of so you can see. If I just just show you. Can you see that? Down there. So these are like the big furnaces that we were looking at just a minute ago. Great big furnace things. And then you've got like all the machinery and stuff at the other end. But you can kind of have a look. What's here? See that? So you can see it. Okay, let me jump down. Oh. So hopefully you had a chance to see something. So the signal's not good. Okay, so we're going to go back upstairs. And hopefully I'll get the signal back. Ah, there we go. Oh, that's it. I'll come back this way. And you can kind of... So we're back upstairs. There we go, look. So I just pop you down on the floor. So we're sturdy. There we go. And just feel the legs. That's it. Just turn this way so I can see what I'm doing. Flip the screen over. Okay. So, hopefully you got to see something. Now don't worry if the signal was all broken and bittery and blotchy and everything else, don't worry too much, because like I said, I took photographs of everything. So I went right down inside and took lots of photographs and things. So if you couldn't see anything or didn't get a chance to see anything, don't worry too much. Okay, and what I will do, like I said before, I'll watch the broadcast today or tomorrow or in the next few days, and if it wasn't very good or anything else, I can always upload the video that the camcorder is recording, so don't worry too much. But hopefully you got to see something. So directly underneath this, there's about three, I think it's probably like three huge, great big long brick tunnels, which would have been the furnace things that would have furnished them. And then it's just a shame I can't take you down there, and you can literally walk down the whole length of this entire place, and there's just pipes and levers and buttons and control panels and machinery and just chairs. Downstairs there's also an area where the computer would have been, which would have operated all the different machinery. So there's like a computer room and all the buttons and stuff. There's a room where there's teacups and things still in there. There's a bookshelf which has got books still on it downstairs, but because it's under kind of down there, the signal's not very good, so I'm not going to be able to take you down there. But I took photographs of everything, so don't worry too much. But you can kind of get an idea of what it's like. It's just a maze of pipes and machinery and buttons and not cables, but just pipes, and it's just amazing down there. Anyway, I'm just looking at the battery power. We've only got about 30% left, so I'm going to end part one there, because we've been running for about 25-30 minutes. So what we'll do is we're going to end part one here, and join me in probably about 15-20 minutes, half an hour or so, maybe 45 minutes. We'll be in the other part of the building, and hopefully I'll be able to show you a little bit more. So hopefully you found part one interesting. Like I said, I apologise if you couldn't see anything, or if the signal cut off then, and you didn't get anything till you come back upstairs. But don't worry, I took photographs of everything so you can see everything. But downstairs I'm hoping you got to see something. It's just amazing to think this factory's over 100 years old, and it would have been all lit up downstairs, and people would have been down there, and just all that heat and just that smell of all the bricks being heated up and furnaced and everything else. It's absolutely fascinating. It's just, there's an eerie silence about this place, nothing like Dudley Railway Tunnel, but when you don't say anything, totally quiet, absolutely totally quiet. When you go downstairs, the pipes and things make noises, and you can just, it makes you look, but all the piping and stuff makes noises. The factory kind of makes noises, almost like little groans and stuff while you're down there. But it's just fascinating. There's just so much down there. It's just a maze of stuff down there. And to see the books still there, and the teacups still there, and the kettle still there, and things have just been left for over 20 years. It's just absolutely fascinating. Anyway, I could show you so much more, but I can't. So we're going to end part 1 now. Join me in about half an hour to 45 minutes, so we'll do part 2. So in part 2, we're going to be in the next side of the part of the building, and hopefully I'll be able to show you a little bit more. So join me in about half an hour, 45 minutes for part 2 of episode 20 of Influencers Time. So until then, grab yourself a nice cup of tea, get nice and warm, or whatever you do, and make yourself comfortable. Join me right here on Facebook, live in about half an hour, 45 minutes, and we'll do part 2. So until then, God bless, take care. See you very, very soon, right here.